ਗੁਰੂ ਰੂਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਚੌਹਾਂ ਸਾਹਿਬਜ਼ਾਦਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਅਤੇ ਮਾਤਾ ਗੁਜਰੀ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਮਿੱਠੀ ਯਾਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਜ ਵੱਜ ਕੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਉਣੀ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। The lecture or the series, the talk we're going to have for the next 30 minutes is part of the Seek to Inspire series. Before I get into the talk itself, just very quickly about what Seek to Inspire is. Seek to Inspire is just a small group of Singhs, Sangat, and what we try and do is go to different Gurdwara Sahibs each month, do talks at universities, colleges, wherever we can, try and inspire our own people, our own youngsters into Sikhi. The Gatha you've heard just before myself from Gyani Jangbir Singh Ji was about the Battle of Chapeltown Sahib. And for those of us who heard that, it was amazing. It was so inspiring to hear about what our forefathers, what our ancestors did, how they fought 1 versus 125,000 each. It's amazing to hear these stories. And it's via these stories that hopefully we will get inspired to learn more about Sikhi ourselves, to actually follow the Guru's path. So this is just a small attempt in English to do the same. Because quite often we hear from our youngsters that the language barrier prevents them from understanding more about their faith, prevents them from going that little bit deeper. So this is just a way to break that down. Ideally, we would love to have pure Punjabi Katha. We'd love to have all of our talks in Punjabi. And sometimes we appreciate that members of the Sangat who don't understand English can't learn from these sessions or don't understand them. And for them, I ask forgiveness. But just simply to get people through the door and just to get started on the path of Sikhi, we need to do this in English, as I said, just so they can break that language barrier. So, for the next 25 minutes, what I want to talk to the Sangat Ji about, or what I want to present is about Mata Gujri Ji. We've just heard Katha concerning the Bhai Sahibzadeh. Tonight we're going to hear the Katha about the Shaheedi of Sahibzadeh Baba Inderjit Singh Ji. Tomorrow we're going to hear about the Sahibzadeh, Chote Sahibzadeh Baba Gurdwara Singh Ji, Baba Fateh Singh Ji and their Shaheedi. The one person who often gets missed out in this month is Mata Gujri Ji. She's the 5th member of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj's Parvar who was Shaheed during this month. So when Gyani Jangbir Singh Ji was talking about Sarban Sadani, Maharaj said, I will give my whole family, I'll give my whole existence for Amrit. I'll give everything I have for this blessing of Amrit. Mata Gujri Ji was the 5th member of that family that was sacrificed in this month. When we hear these Sakhiyan, when we hear these stories, it's fantastic, it inspires us. But the inspiration needs to go deeper than that, it needs to go further than that. These individuals that we hear about, these heroes and heroines from our history, need to become role models for us. Too often we look around and the role models we have, and this is both as youngsters and as adults, the role models we have, whether we are consciously aware of it or not, aren't ideal. The people we look up to, the people we aspire to be, aren't those that we should perhaps be looking up to as per Gurmat, as per the teaching of Guru Granth Sahib Ji and Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. So when we hear these Sakhiyan, we need to be able to try and adapt what we're learning, what we're hearing to our own lives. We need to try and make these individuals, these people, role models for us, so we can actually look up to them, actually walk in their path. Now, this is not to say that we are going to be involved in a battle like at Chapeltown Sahib, but there must be something from the Sahibzadeh's lives that we can learn from, that we can adopt to our own life. And as a way of a role model, today I want to talk to you about Mata Gujri Ji. So Mata Gujri Ji, she was a daughter-in-law, a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. And very briefly, I want to touch on each one of these relationships, each one of these parts of her life, and talk about how she's a role model. And just from the start, I do want to say this isn't just for Bibiyan. This isn't just a role model for Bibiyan. Mata Gujri Ji is as much a role model for the Bibiyan and our sisters and our mothers as she is for our brothers as well. So Mata Gujri Ji, as we all know, she was the wife of the 9th Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, and they were married quite young, as was the custom for those days. Now, when Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, the 6th Guru, who is the father of the 9th Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, when they married off their older daughter, Bibi Viro Ji, they gave her some advice on her wedding day. And that advice is recorded in our history. And I'd say it's pretty safe to assume that Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, the 6th Guru, gave his own daughter some advice, Bibi Viro Ji, that he would have given his daughter-in-law the same advice when she came into his household. So as a daughter-in-law, what was Mata Gujri Ji, Bibi Viro Ji, what were they taught? So Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj and Mata Damodari Ji, they told Bibi Viro Ji and by assumption Mata Gujri Ji the following things. said, once you're married, seva karni hai. Save your husband. Save your sasura. Save Gursikhs. This is the first command. Okay, now that you're married, you're going into your sora kar. Save your family, look after them, treat them with respect. If any Gursikhs come to your house, unheं di vi seva karni hai. They were taught that if you're doing stuff outside the house, but inside the house there's no seva, there's no prem, what happens outside doesn't count. Treat your elders with respect. Everything that you do in your house, do with pride. Do correctly. Mata Damodari ji told him, wake up in the morning, have ishnan, do nitnem, stay away from bad sangat. These are the things that Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj and their male taught their daughter and the daughter-in-law. So as a role model, we need to ask ourselves, what message are we giving our daughters when they're getting married? What message are we giving to our Singhaniya when we get married? Is it these things? Is it about respecting the Singh and the parents? Is it about respecting Gursikhs when they come to the house? Is it actually about are we sharing these messages today? I'm not sure if we are. Now, Bhagat Kabir ji in Maharaj's Bani asked the question. Bhagat ji asked Maharaj, what are the clothes, what are the robes, what are the things I can do that will make me attractive to my Lord, to my husband? Now here Bhagat ji is talking in a spiritual sense that Vaheguru is our husband, Lord. What things can I wear? What can I do to become attractive? And the answer Bhagat Kabir ji also gives is the 3 robes that we can wear. The first is humility, then there's forgiveness, and then there's sweet speech. That if you want your Lord to fall in love with you, if you want to impress your husband, Lord, be humble, be forgiving, and have sweet speech. Now that's on a spiritual level between us and Vaheguru, given that we're the soul brides of Vaheguru's our husband. But on a physical level, in the world that we live in, what better advice could there be for a husband and wife? If you want your partner to love you, to respect you, if you want to have that pyar, have forgiveness in your heart, be humble, and speak sweetly. Just the other day on the news, they're talking about how almost 50% of marriages fail in this country. 50% of marriages in this country end up in divorce. Now, why do most marriages break up? It's because one person always says, I'm right, you're wrong. I know better. There's no humility. There's no forgiveness. If someone does something wrong, people don't want to let it go. And where there's no sweet speech, there's anger and there's swearing instead. So as far as role models, as far as Sikhya that Maharaj gives us and how to live our lives, Maharaj has told us, and Mata Gujri ji was a perfect example of how to live that life. Mata Gujri ji had that sweet speech, Mata Gujri ji had that forgiveness, and she had that humility. Now Mata Gujri ji as a daughter-in-law, everyone knows it's hard for girls to go into the Sorekar and adjust, especially where there's a big family. Mata Gujri ji was a perfect example of how a daughter-in-law lives in her family house. Mata Gujri ji and her mother-in-law, Bebe Nanki ji, Mata Nanki ji, they stayed together for many, many years. They stayed together throughout their lives. There was never any conflict between daughter and mother. They got along. Why? Because of humility, because of forgiveness, because of sweet speech. These are the qualities the Guru enshrined in both Mata Gujri ji and also Mata Nanki ji. Now, what about Mata ji as a wife to Guru Tegh Bahadur ji? When Guru Tegh Bahadur ji Maharaj was younger, the name was Tyag Mal. On seeing their bravery in battle, Maharaj's name was changed to Tegh Bahadur. Tegh meaning sword, Bahadur meaning brave. And at one point, Maharaj went to Bakala, Bab Bakala, it's also called. It's a small town, small area just outside Amritsar. And they went to this place. And Guru Tegh Bahadur's ninth Guru's attitude was very much one of Bairag. They looked at the world and they saw it as false. They recognized the world for what it was, and they saw people who were so engrossed in the world, so engrossed in their families, in the material things, that they were missing the secret that was right in front of the face of Vaheguru. And Maharaj will feel such a separation from God, it would hurt him. And what Maharaj did at this place for over 20 years, he sat in a camera and he did bhagati. he did Simran, he read Gurbani, he meditated on Vaheguru. And one of the things was telling me the other day that what would happen is that Maharaj would have a small bowl, and because the pain of separation from Vaheguru, that it would actually fill with tears every day. And who was it that would take this bowl of tears away? It was Mata Gujri ji. So while Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj did Bhagati for over 20 years in this Pora, who was standing outside the door? It was Mata Gujri ji. Who was making their prashada, getting their shnan ready? Mata Gujri ji. Who would have heard all the gallan that the Pendawale would have done? That he never comes out of his house, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. Mata Gujri ji. Who would have had to say all those things? Mata Gujri ji. Now, when people get married, they have hopes and aspirations. They want to do stuff, they want to go places, they want to experience things. And yet we have Mata Gujri ji, who has so much faith in her husband, who has so much faith in the Guru Sahib and the Guru Sahib Parvar, that she's willing to stand next to her husband for over 20 years while he does Bhakti. Now we know history, we know in history what that Bhakti was for. We know about the sacrifice that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji went on to give. But throughout that, Mata Gujri ji was the support. She was the Sahara throughout all of that. When Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji Maharaj, the 8th Guru, when they went to Sachkhand and they gave the Guru Gaddi over to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, what they actually said is Baba Bakalaya. The Baba is in Bakala. And he said the Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji Maharaj lifted their finger and they rotated it in the air. Because each time the Guru Gaddi would go from one Guru Sahib to the next, typically the Guru Sahib would matatek, put down a coconut, a nariyal, 5 rupees, 5 rupees, and then do a parkarma of the next Guru. So same as we do parkarma of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, same as when you go to Harmandir Sahib, you walk around the path around the outside, it's called a parkarma. So each Guru Sahib would do parkarma and matatek a nariyal, a coconut, and 5 rupees. Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji Maharaj was in Delhi. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj was near Amritsar. So Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji Maharaj says the Baba is in Bakala, and with his finger he did the parkarma and he gave the nariyal and the 5 rupees to Baba Gurditta Ji, who's another son of the 6th Guru. Now when the Sangat heard that the Baba is in Bakala, Maharaj hadn't given a name. So what happened? What happened then was the same thing that's happened now in Punjab. 22 fake Gurus set up stalls. 22 fake men said, I am the Guru. Just like you go to Punjab now, you get so many people claiming to be the next Sikh Guru. And Sangat, because they're looking for something, will flock to them, looking for an answer. And 22 manjiyan were set up in Bakala. And when the Sangat went, they were confused, they didn't know who's who. There was a story about Makhan Shah Lawana, who through his kotak realized who Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji actually was, and he told the Sangat about Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Now Baba Gurditta Ji had already arrived in Bakala at this point. He'd already given the nariyal, the 5 rupees to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. He said, Maharaj, you are the next Guru. Guru da hukam aaya. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji didn't want it. He said, please don't tell the Sangat, Gupta rakho. When Bhai Makhan Shah Labana came, he told everyone. Now, while these Bhai Manjiyan were there were some people who didn't want Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji to have the Guru Gaddi. One of these people was called Tirmal. Tirmal spread a lot of rumours about the 9th Guru. Tirmal did a lot of damage. When the Guru Gaddi was actually given to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj and it was announced that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj was a Guru, Tirmal actually raided Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's house and stole a lot of possessions. Tirmal even had a man called Sinha shoot a bullet at Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. And some people say that bullet hit Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji in the shoulder, other people say hit Maharaj in the head. Tirmal was doing all this irka, all this enmity with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. He was standing next to Maharaj during all this, Mata Gujri Ji. Who was supporting him through all this, Mata Gujri Ji. Now we are human beings. Gyani Jangbir Singh talked about who can stand there and see the sun except bullets in their chest. Equally, who can stand there and see the husband get shot in the head. Mata Gujri Ji watched that. Beyond that, when Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, having become the Guru, started his tours. Now after, we all know Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj travelled to a lot of places. 25,000 miles, I think, Maharaj covered on foot. After Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj was the second most travelled of the Gurus. And when they were going out and doing their prachar, Mata Gujri Ji went with them. Mata Gujri Ji and Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's mother, Mata Nanki Ji, went with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj wherever they went to do the prachar. And when Maharaj would be doing the prachar, Mata Ji, of Mata Nanaki Ji and Mata Gujri Ji would be doing the Langar Di Seva, looking after the Sangat. So all through Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj's life, the one constant was Mata Gujri Ji standing right behind them. Now we've said that for 20 odd years, Mata Ji stood at the door of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj doing their seva while they're doing their bhakti. They hadn't had a child. Mata Ji was married nearly 30 years before Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was conceived. Almost 30 years. When Maharaj was conceived, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj got a request from Sangat in far east India. Okay, Maharaj, please come to us and give us your darshan. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji has finally had a child who's almost going to be born now in the next 9 months. But the Sangat have made a request, कि sanu aake darshan do. Now if you've waited 30 years for a child, you'd think, what's another 9 months? Stay. But Maharaj said, no. The Sangat have called me, I've got to go. So Maharaj Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji went and he told Mata Gujri Ji to stay at what is now Patna Sahib. So Maharaj went, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj went off to East India to do prachar. And once he was away, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was born. Maharaj, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, the 9th Guru, didn't come back for another 4 years because of the Sangat's requests. Sangat kahi andi si ki sanu darshan do, sanu darshan do. Guru Gobind Singh Ji umar 4 saala di si, pehli wari jadon Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji ne darshan kite unna de. 4 years. So for 20 years she stood by the side of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. For years and years she went around with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj while they did their prachar. And when finally a child is born, for the first 4 years she raised that child by herself. The mother raised Guru Gobind Singh Ji 4 years old by herself. And it said that when Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj finally came and Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj saw them, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj is sitting on his horse, a white horse in a white chola, with a sword strapped to the waist, with a bow and a command full of arrows. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj came up at 4 years old and Mata Tegh to Maharaj's feet whilst they were in the saddle. But 4 years old, Mata Gujri Ji looked after Guru Gobind Singh Ji for the first 4 years by themselves with the support of their mother-in-law Mata Nanaki Ji and with Mata Gujri Ji's brother. That was the support. Look at the strength. Today, we have families that can't cope. But look at the strength of Mata Gujri Ji. Look at the support, look at the faith in her Guru. Look at the faith in her husband. Now, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, there's no praises that we can do Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. We haven't got enough time, we haven't got the tongue. When Bhai Sahib said earlier that there's no rasna, there's no tongue that can sing the praise of Baba Jeet Singh Ji, well, how are you even going to start singing the praise of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj? But who was the mother that raised that man? If Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj is the greatest being that's walked on this earth, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj is the greatest warrior, the greatest poet, the greatest philosopher, the greatest guru, the greatest being that's ever walked on this earth, who's his mother? Now, when we look at our parents, we judge them based on their kids. If a kid is kharab, we judge the parents. If the kid is good, we judge the parents. ਨਿਆਣਾ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਾਲਿਆ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਹਾਲ ਤੱਕ ਕਰਦਾ ਮਾਪੇ ਵੀ ਦਦੇ ਹੋਣੇ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਅਕਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਿਖਾਈ ਪਰ look at Guru Gobind Singh Ji, who raised Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Mata Gujri Ji, ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਜੰਮਿਆ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਪਾਲਿਆ. When Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj used to be young and he used to organize his friends into a little army to mock battles, give some swords, give them shields, play fight. Maharaj used to get bows and arrows, and when the women used to take the kare, which are clay pots, to go get water from the river, Maharaj used to get him and his friends there to shoot the pots, break the pots, do archery practice on the pots. And the women would complain to Mata Gujri Ji, your son is breaking our pots, we're getting drenched, he's ruining all of our karbar. So Mata Ji bought the metal pots instead. Because she knew what her son had to become. She knew what future her son had, what he had to do in his future. Mata Gujri Ji and Mama Kripal Chand Ji brought up Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj while Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji wasn't there. We all know what happened next. From having had Maharaj Darshan from 4 years old, 5 years later, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj sends Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji to give Shaheedi in Delhi. He's only had his father in his life face to face for 5 years. And he sends him off for Shaheedi. Now again, where would Mata Gujri Ji be in all this? whilst it's Guru Gobind Singh Ji's father that he's sending off, let's not forget it's also Mata Gujri Ji's husband that's leaving her. So all her life, and as I said, people got married very young at that point. All her life, she didn't seva of her husband. As Guru Sheme Pacha, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj would have instructed her कि अपने आदमी की सेवा करनी है, पति की सेवा करनी है, ससुर की सेवा करनी है. All her life she served her husband, never questioned him, never doubted him, been through so much hardship. And now suddenly her son is sending her husband to go to Shaheedi in Delhi. Mata Gujri Ji makes one request to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. She says, can I come with you? She goes, can I come with you? If you're going to give Shaheedi, can I come with you to give my sacrifice as well? And Maharaj said, no, your seva's here. Guru Gobind Singh is only 9 years old. But this is the pyar that Mata Gujri Ji had as a role model. Even at the very end, sticking with her husband. And after Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj Ji Shaheedi, we know when Maharaj gave Shaheedi, there were 3 Sikhs which were Shaheed with Maharaj. Bhai Mati Das Ji, Bhai Satya Das Ji, Bhai Dayala Ji. Now when we look at the Shaheedi, and this was again in the last few weeks, when we look at the Shaheedi, we're inspired, we're amazed at the Shaheedi. Bhai Mati Das Ji gets sawed in half. Bhai Satya Das Ji is burnt in cotton wool. Bhai Dayala Ji is boiled alive. We hear of the Shaheedi and it inspires us. But let's take a step back. Where's Mata Gujri Ji in this? If Mata Gujri Ji is the male, the wife of the 9th Guru, and the 9th Guru has raised these Sikhs with his own hands, they're like the children of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. They were the children of Guru Mata Gujri Ji as well. Can you imagine the pain in Mata Gujri Ji's heart when she heard about her beloved Sikhs being Shaheed? From Anandpur Sahib, Mata Gujri Ji would have had these khabran, should have heard this news. Bhai Mati Das Ji was Shaheed, Bhai Satya Das Ji, Bhai Dayala Ji Shaheed. Imagine her heart as a mother. As a Guru Sikh, she was a Guru Sikh if nothing else. And then when Maharaj Ji ceased, when the 9th Guru's cease was brought back to Anandpur Sahib, and there's a beautiful picture of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj mat taking to Maharaj Ji's cease. We've got Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj in that picture and that painting, but where's Mata Gujri Ji? Again, imagine the heart of Mata Gujri Ji when someone brings back the cease of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. All those years of seva, all those years of prem, all those years of bhagati, all those years of pyar. And then to see your Swami, your Parmeshwar, your Pati cease in front of you like that. But my faith is that Mataji wouldn't have wavered, Mataji wouldn't have doled, because Mataji accepted Pana. Mataji was a true role model. And what about after that? So Guru Maharaj becomes Guru Sahib at 9 years old. Who gives him his teachings? Who gives him his training? Who's responsible now for Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj? Mata Gujri Ji. So for 4 years, pehla, but even for those 4 years, it's a Punjabi kahavat कि जिद्दा भी हैगा पैदा सहारा तो है. Even if the father is really bad, in Punjabi they say जिद्दा भी हैगा, at least he's there. पुत नूं पैदा सहारा आया, जिद्दा भी होवे. And this is Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. So 4 years, even though Mataji raised Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj herself, he was there. Without Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, the responsibility fully fell on Mataji. And we all know, as I said, the kind of person Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj grew into. We know about the Amrit Sanchar, Maharaj removing the cease, Panch Pyare de Sir Lai. Mata Gujri Ji herself took Amrit on that day. We have our mother, Mata Sahib Kaur. But who did that resta? Mata Gujri Ji. We got the Sahibzadeh. Who was responsible as a mother for those reste? Mata Jito Ji, Mata Sundari Ji. Mata Gujri Ji was. So she was instrumental in every single life, in every single part of Guru Gobind Singh's life. So much of what we take for granted now was as a result of Mata Gujri Ji being the mother of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. And when we get to the Sahibzadeh, four amazing Gurmukhs. We don't even call them Bhais, our brothers. They were young, we call them Baba, out of respect, because of who they were, because of their gun, because of their qualities. Now, all of us have had, most of us have probably had the blessings of a grandmother in our lives. And we all know that the pyar your bibi gives you is so much more than your mum will give you or your dad will give you. If your mum and dad are angry with us, if our parents are shouting at us, where do you go for safety? You go to your bibi. Because your bibi is going to protect you. Your bibi has more pyar for you usually than your parents do. Because when your parents are busy, it's your bibi that holds you in her lap and puts you to sleep and feeds you. So the four Sahibzadeh are the children of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. They're the grandchildren of Mata Gujri Ji, who again, he would have raised them in her own hands. And if Mata Sahib Kaur Ji and Pita Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj are our parents, and Mata Gujri is our grandmother as well. So we come on to the Shaheedi of the Sahibzadeh. And we heard about the prasanga about the older Sahibzadeh today. And we're going to hear about this younger Sahibzadeh tomorrow. But again, I want to talk about Mata Gujri Ji and all these stories as a role model. So we've seen Mata Ji as a daughter, we've seen her as a daughter-in-law, we've seen her as a wife. We know the amazing job Mata Ji did as a mother to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. Now we can talk about Mata Ji as a grandmother. Now Mata Ji as a grandmother, when they would have been in Anandpur Sahib, when Maharaj and the Singhs left Anandpur da Killa, if there were arrows and bullets flying like rain, Mata Gujri Ji was in the middle of that. When the Sikhs left Anandpur Sahib, Mata Gujri Ji would have had Baba Zorawar Singh Ji in one hand and Baba Fateh Singh Ji holding the other hand. That would have been how Mata Gujri Ji left Anandpur da Killa. If Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj and the Vadde Sahibzadeh and Baba Uday Singh and other Gurmukhs were fighting at the front, and around, in the middle of all that was Mata Gujri Ji, protecting her younger two grandsons. Now, in the katha you heard some amazing katha about how the sounds of battle were, how the swords banged against each other's shields, how the arrows whizzed, how the bullets sounded. And you got two younger Sahibzadeh, the two younger sons of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj and the grandmother amidst all that. And when the separation happens on Sahibzadeh Nadi, when the Vadde Sahibzadeh and Chali Gursikhs end up at Chamkaur Sahib, and Mata Ji is left with the two shortest Sahibzadeh herself, again, think back to her as a role model. She raised Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj by herself, and now suddenly she's left with the younger two grandsons. Just Mata Ji, two younger grandsons, in a country that was committed to killing Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, that wanted to see the end of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj and his entire family. He wanted to wipe Sikhi off the face of the earth. And there's Mata Gujri Ji and her two younger grandsons by themselves. Does Mata Gujri Ji sit down and cry? Does she give up? No. She holds her grandsons' hands, and she walks, and she reads Gurbani, she sings sabds to them, tells them stories, comforts them. Now we're going to hear tomorrow the detail about how the Shaheedi happened, about how Gangu Baman met Mata Ji and then betrayed Mata Gujri Ji. But again, let's look at the character of Mata Gujri Ji, even when she was betrayed by Gangu. So Gangu gave them residence, gave them some support shelter for the night, but then he sold them out in the morning. Mata Ji didn't shout, she didn't scream, she didn't swear. She told Gangu, this is what you've done. But then she accepted Pana. And cool, collected, and with honour, she went to Sarand. And when they locked him in the Tanda Burj, and let me just explain this, the Tanda Burj was a tall tower with no walls surrounding it, so you would have just had spaces, so you couldn't escape because it was locked from downstairs. You couldn't climb down the outside walls. It was just a flat platform with a roof, but it was cold all outside. Now, it's December up in Leeds. It's freezing. Absolutely cold. There's bad weather, there's rain, there's snow. We've all been there. You come inside, even in the Gurdwara Sahib now, some of us are wrapping up warm because it was so cold. Let's not forget, Mata Gujri Ji at this point was over 80 years old. Over 80 years old, and the youngest Sahibzadeh. In a room which has no walls, in a high tower. The higher up you get, the stronger the wind gets, the colder it gets. And they were locked there for 3 days. And during this time, Mata Gujri Ji would have supported and comforted her grandsons. It was Mata Gujri Ji that told them the stories of their father. It was Mata Gujri Ji that told them the stories of their grandfather, the Shaheed, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. It was her that told them stories about the great-grandfather, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, and the battles he fought in. It was Mata Gujri Ji that taught them about their great-great-grandfather, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, the Shaheed as well. Mata Gujri ji, who taught his Sahibzadeh, her younger grandsons, these stories, and why? So they wouldn't give up their Sikhi. Mata Gujri ji knew what was going to happen, but she prepared them. Is Mata Gujri ji who would have held them close to her for heat at night? Is Mata Gujri ji who gave them tapia on their back and said, Shero, Gaj ke fateh bulayo. And when they went to Wazir Khan's court, when they showed him their jutti, and when they loudly and proudly said fateh, that was Mata Gujri ji Sikhya. Is Mata Gujri ji that sat there for 3 days with them. And when the Sahibzadeh finally got Shaheed, and I won't go into the details of the story because we'll hear about that tomorrow, but that was Mata Gujri ji sitting up in that tower, pride in her heart. Her husband Shaheed in Delhi, her son fighting not too far away with the older two Sahibzadeh, soon to be Shaheed as well, and her younger two grandsons, her younger two Sahibzadeh, Shaheed, meters away from her. And it was when they became Shaheed that Mataji also left her body. This is Mata Gujri ji, I would say the fifth and often forgotten hero of the month of December. If we remember the Sahibzadeh, Vadde and Shote Shaheediyan, we need to make sure we remember Mata Gujri ji Shaheedi in all this as well, because her role is pivotal to everything that happened here. If Mata Sahib Kaur is our mother, Mata Gujri ji is our grandmother. And there's two more small stories I want to share with you. One is to do with just a man by Moti Ram Mera, a Gursikh, who when he heard about Mata Gujri ji and the Sahibzadeh, decided that the oppression, the injustice that was being meted out to them by the Mughals was too much to bear. Because no one was allowed to go in, no one was allowed to come out. What did Bhai Moti Ram Mera do? He got milk. And he managed to get into the Thanda Burj, and he gave Mataji and the Sahibzadeh milk. That's all he did, just gave them milk. And for giving them milk, what happened to Bhai Moti Ram Mera? He, his wife, his children and his mother were all made Shaheed. Now there's different accounts of how they were Shaheed. One account says that they were put into a press where you put seeds and then you squeeze the seeds till tail comes out. Another account is that they were buried up to the necks in the ground, and then had stuff smeared on their faces, and wild dogs were made to eat their faces. Two different accounts. It may be that some of their family had one type of torture, another had another. But this is the sacrifice that Bhai Moti Ram Mera went through just to give Mata Gujri ji and the Sahibzadeh milk. This is the injustice of the Mughal Empire. But this is the pyar of the Gursikhs. Just to give them milk. And what about once they were Shaheed, the Shote Sahibzadeh and Mata Gujri ji? Wazir Khan decided that they cannot be cremated, they cannot have their final rites done in any Mughal land. If anybody wants to cremate them, they have to buy land. So Dewan Todarmal, another Gursikh, said, I will buy the land. And what is the price of the land? Because you can only have as much land as you put gold coins down. So if you imagine each gold coin is about the same size as a £2 coin. Now, gold coins were expensive then. Gold coins are expensive now. But the land that Todarmal bought came at the price of being covered by the gold coins. But when he bought gold coins, he was a merchant, he was quite a wealthy man. When he turned up with a bag full of coins and started placing them out, they stopped him. The Mughals said, no, no, no. Don't place the coins down flat. Stand them on the sides. Stand the gold coins up. Mora khariyan karo, lamina pao. And it's estimated 76,000 gold mora were used to buy that land. 76,000 gold mora. He didn't have that money, so what did he do? He went home. It was his daughter's wedding. And in Punjab, as we know, they buy sona, they buy gifts. His daughter said, Pitaji, sell everything. He sold all of his daughter's wedding gifts, all of her gold. He sold his house, he sold everything he owned, everything he possessed, just so that he could buy enough mora to stand up to buy the cremation ground that Mata Gujri ji and the Sahibzadeh were then cremated on. 76,000 gold coins, and the one Todarmal disappeared after that. Sacrificed everything he had just to buy a small plot of land so they could do the last rites of Mataji and the Sahibzadeh. And Gurdwara Jyoti Swarup now stands on that place. So this is the pyar that other Gursikhs who saw Mata Gujri ji had. They recognized who Mata Gujri as a Gurmukh was. But to bring it back to why we're here, to why we're doing these talks, about the Sikh to inspire, the story of Mata Gujri ji is inspirational. Mata Gujri ji, and again let's go through it, as a daughter, picked to be the wife of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, as a daughter-in-law to Guru Har Gobind Sahib ji Maharaj and Mata Nanki ji, as a wife to Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, as a mother to Guru Gobind Singh ji, as a grandmother to the Char Sahibzadeh. What a role model for Singhs and Singhaniya. But she's only a role model if we actually look up to her and adopt her way of thinking. Unless we change the way we live, the way we think, the way we speak, the way we dress, the way we do everything in our lives, these stories are just entertainment. Same as going to a cinema, watching a film, listening to a song. They just become entertainment. Inspiration or role models are those that change us as individuals. If we're not going to change when we hear about the Sahibzadeh Shaheediyan, if we're not going to change when we hear about the greatness of Mata Gujri ji, if we're not going to change when we learn about Guru Nanak Dev ji, if we're not going to change when we read Gurbani or hear Gurbani, then it's just entertainment. So please, let's learn from these stories and let's all try and improve our Jeevans, me included. This isn't me saying to you improve yourselves, myself first of all. You need to listen to what Mata Gujri ji did. We said 3 robes to impress our husband Lord: forgiveness, humility, sweet speech. We want to be like Mata Gujri ji. There's 3 things there that every single one of us can adopt in our lives. Again, humility, forgiveness, sweet speech. These 3 things Mata Gujri ji carried with her throughout her life, applied day in, day out. And that's what she is now today, our grandmother. So Benti, where we remember the Sahibzadeh, let's remember our grandmother Mata Gujri ji. Let's learn from her. Let's change our lives, even if it's just one single step. As I said, 3 robes to wear. Bhagavad Kabir ji says, humility, forgiveness, sweet speech. So if I've said anything wrong, please do forgive me. Please try and attend for the next 2 days of the Kanpad Sahib and get as much laha as you can. Please get involved as much seva as you can, listen to as much Gurbani as you can. Baba Thakur Singh ji, whose Barsi we're manaying this weekend, was a role model. And I mean a role model because meeting them changed the lives of hundreds and thousands of Gurmukhs. There are people here today with Dania and Kes on their faces because of meeting Baba Thakur Singh ji. There are people today who would be in prison cells, maybe even dead, if it wasn't for Baba Thakur Singh ji. Meeting them as a role model has changed lives. And whilst Babaji isn't here, when we learn about their life on Monday evening, when we hear about the lives and the Shaheedi of the Sahibzadeh of the next 2 days, let's also change us all. ਬੋਲਦੇ ਹੋਇਆਂ ਅਨੇਕ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ ਹੁਣ ਜੀ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਮਝ ਕੇ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਨਾ ਜੀ ਵਾਹ